This is BBC World News Today. I'm Chris Rogers. The latest headlines. 3 days of national mourning declared in Turkey after bombings at a peace rally killed at least 86 people and injured nearly 200. North Korea shows its might in a major military parade, marking 70 years of North Korea's ruling Workers' Party. Well, let's get more now on our top story, the bomb blast at that peace rally in the Turkish capital, Ankara. We want to know now, how will this violence affect stability inside Turkey? And to help us try and find the answers, I'm joined by the London School of Economics Turkish specialist, Dr. Esra Ozyurek, and also joining us is Çağdaş Canpolat, who is from DEMA, an organisation which works to foster good communal relations between Turks and Kurds in London. Thank you very much for coming in. I'd just like to start with you, Esra, because we were just hearing from our correspondent in Ankara earlier in the programme, and she said that there are a lot of people across the country mourning what has happened. There's also a lot of anger as well. Is Turkey a country where the minority are creating the violence and the majority just want peace and stability?
That's a good question. I would say so. You know, Turkey suffered war between PKK guerrillas and the Turkish army for more than 30 years. More than 40,000 people have died. And in last few years, there has been a peace process, there has been a ceasefire, and it looked like it was going somewhere. Out of that calm period, we also got a strong pro-Kurdish movement, which is HDP, which really came out with really democratic ideals, that is for the rights of all minorities. It was going all really well. People who are for peace were really excited about it. And right before the elections, pretty much when it became clear that HDP will get really pass the barrier, the whole thing crumbled and the war started again. Everyone is really deeply, deeply sad about that.
And Çağdaş, as Esra was saying there, we have a pro-Kurdish party, part of the coalition. They've come out very strongly today, condemning this attack as perhaps the government or circles of the government perhaps being behind it, or supporters of the government. How do you unify the politics of Turkey? Because that really is the only way to bring stability on that front when it comes to tensions between the Kurds and the Turks.
Well, first of all, let me just thank BBC for providing us a platform to speak. For many years, I've been outside of BBC protesting and wanted the Turkish and Kurdish community living in the UK to have the opportunity to express their views. And here I am today. In terms of your question, in Turkey, what we've seen today is appalling. The numbers are rising. We've probably seen 100 who have lost their lives, and the numbers are increasing as we probably speak. As Esra has mentioned, there has been a process in Turkey which had so much expectation. People expected that this would kind of bring long-lasting peace in Turkey, but this hasn't been the case. People's expectation has been flattened, and we now see this period which is so tense in Turkey. At the moment, any kind of oppositional view in Turkey is treated as kind of a terrorist group, or is kind of seen as a dark forces in Turkey. And the will of Turkish people and Kurdish people in Turkey is that they want to see a long-lasting peace, and they want people to come together, and they want to see long-lasting peace where they don't want to see more soldiers dying, they don't want to see guerrilla fighters dying. They want to come together, and the democratic forces of Turkey are really pushing this, and that's why we've had this table where both sides have come together. But now, because of Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the president of Turkey, this now has been, what the Turks say, put into the fridge, where it's now stable, purely because he doesn't want to continue.
And they have a united enemy as well, which is Islamic State, who could be responsible for this attack. We don't know yet, but there has been some suggestion from the Prime Minister that suicide bombers were involved, which would bear the hallmarks of IS. But they have a common enemy. Can that not bring the Kurds and the Turks closest together?
I would have to question whether it is a common enemy, because there's so many kind of information out there saying that Turkey covertly, sometimes supporting Islamic State, and this is the biggest concern. At a time when the Kurdish people in Rojava were fighting against the Islamic State, Turkey was attacking the Kurdish people.
Does that ring true? Is there any? How much evidence is there of that Turkey supports Islamic State?
Well, we do have a lot of evidence that the Turkish intelligence agencies' trucks passed weapons to the Islamic State. We know that there are many cells of Islamic State. We know that all Western fighters to join the Islamic State went through Turkey. So there is no doubt that Turkey at least turned a blind eye towards Islamic State activities.
We understand there is peace at the moment with the elections coming up with the PKK, but do you think disarmament, perhaps like we saw with the IRA in Northern Ireland, is perhaps the way forward? Perhaps a final thought from both of you.
Well, before the elections, that was being discussed. The PKK was talking about disarmament. They were talking about how to bring the guerrillas down from the mountains. So it looked like things were pretty close. But now it doesn't look like possible. For the long run, a long-lasting peace, justice is necessary. Now Kurdish people in Turkey do not feel like they have equal citizens, that they have, they have to right to even represent themselves.
Quick response from you, Çağdaş?
Well, yesterday PKK has announced that they will put their weapons to the side, and it's ironic that the next day we see 100 people being killed. It's so ironic that these people who have been killed have been calling for peace, for a more democratic Turkey, and it's just sad that these people have been killed in this capital of Turkey.
Çağdaş, many thanks for coming over. Sorry you felt the need to protest to get your voice on the BBC, but you're always welcome, and also to you, thank you very much, Esra, for coming in as well.